When you pay your credit card bill and how much you decide to pay could be the difference between you falling into the downward spiral of credit card debt and colossal interest rates, or using credit cards as a financial asset that provides you with benefits and helps you to increase your credit score. Whether you're a beginner with credit cards looking at getting your first one, or you already have a few of them, you'll definitely find this video useful. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Peter and I'm an accounting and finance graduate, and today we're talking about when is the best time to pay your credit card and how much should you be paying in order to increase your credit score. As someone who's worked for two of the largest banks in the UK, I've got a pretty good understanding how some of these financial products work, especially credit cards, and how they're specially designed to make the banks money. A lot of money, with a big chunk of that coming from interest rates and charges. Regular bills like utilities or mobile phone bills usually tell you exactly how much you need to pay and exactly what date that needs to be paid by. However, with credit cards there is a lot more flexibility, and that comes in three areas. You can decide how much you pay, what date you pay it, and what payment method you use. But with credit card statements sometimes being a few pages long, and with all the different repayment options and different dates that they mention, it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming when it comes to managing your credit card. But this video is here to help you get your head around it. So let's get right into it and start with how much should you pay on your credit card bill. If you're looking to manage your credit card well and use it in a way that benefits you rather than a way that makes the bank money, then the answer is pretty simple. You should pay your credit card balance off in full every single month. Doing this has a number of benefits. First of all, you'll never pay any interest on what you've used the card for because you've cleared the balance before the interest kicks in. And it'll also look good on your credit report because it shows that you can make your repayments on time and that you're not fully reliant on credit to get by, both of which will contribute to a higher credit score. Now, in theory, this seems pretty simple, but in reality, a lot of people don't do this, and that's exactly how the banks are making money. So I've got two tips to share with you on how to manage your credit card properly to make it easier to pay off the full balance every month. Tip number one is to only use the credit card for small purchases that you would have made anyway. This is especially true if you're new to credit cards and just starting to build up your credit score. For example, if you have £20 in your bank account that you're going to use for petrol and you would usually use your debit card, instead you can use your credit card to put £20 of petrol in, and then at the end of the month use the £20 in your bank account to pay off the credit card bill. Tip number two is to keep your credit card utilisation between 30 and 50% at the most. Credit card utilisation is basically the amount that you owe on a credit card divided by the total amount you have available on your credit card. Say for example you have a credit card with a limit of £1,000. You want to keep the total amount that you owe at any one time at a maximum of between £300 and £500. Now this has two major benefits. First of all, credit utilisation is one of the factors that contributes towards your credit score. If you keep it down towards the lower end between 30 and 50%, that shows the lenders that you're not fully reliant on credit to get by, that you have credit available, but you're not actually in a bad financial situation where you need to rely on it. The second benefit of keeping your credit card utilisation between 30 and 50% is that your credit card balance will never get too out of hand. If your credit card is already maxed out, you may not be able to make the minimum repayment that month, never mind paying the balance off in full. Now, these tips and paying off your credit card balance in full every month is all well and good if you're new to credit cards or you're good at managing your money. But what if you've already made mistakes in the past and you have large credit card debts or a number of credit cards with big balances? If this is the case, you may not be able to pay the balance off in full. If you find yourself in this situation, the next best option is to pay off what you reasonably can afford to pay for that month. To work that out, you may need to put together a budget, looking at your income and everything that you've got going out each month. And you may be forced to cut down on some unnecessary spending, but in the long run, it's definitely going to be worth it. Now, I'm currently putting together a budget template that you'll be able to download and use for free. It's not quite ready yet, but I'll leave a link in the description where you can sign up to get a notification when it's available, and you'll be able to download it straight away. Now, the final point on how much you should pay each month is for the people that find themselves in a situation where they can't even afford to pay the minimum repayments. If that's you facing this situation, you can't bury your head in the sand. You need to call your credit card provider and explain to them that you're facing financial difficulty and you need to take a payment break or reduce your payments for a short while you get yourself back on your feet. Trust me, I've made credit card mistakes and I've been in this situation, but this is the worst thing that you can do because ignoring it can lead to collections, defaults or CCJs. And you'll find that whenever you give them a call, it's never as bad or as embarrassing as you've made it out in your head. They're usually always very friendly and always willing to help because at the end of the day, they want to get their money back from you, so they'll do what they can to work with you and the situation that you're in. So now that we know how much we're going to pay each month, The next question is, when should you pay your credit card bill? Credit card dates can definitely get a bit confusing. You've got transaction dates, billing cycle dates, statement closing dates, and payment due dates. There's no wonder why so many people misunderstand the importance of some of the critical dates. And this can not only lead to missing out on benefits and rewards from credit cards, but it can also incur interest and hefty charges. So what you need to know is that the most important date when it comes to paying off your credit card bill is the payment due date. You'll usually see this at the top of your credit card bill, and it's usually the same date every month, just to avoid any confusion. The payment due date is so important because it's the last date that you can make a payment on your credit card bill without incurring any late fees or other charges. And you'll also begin to be charged interest on any balances that are carried over past this date. So the simple answer is to pay your credit card bill any time between receiving your statement and your payment due date. Making at least a minimum repayment will ensure you don't receive any late payments or other charges, and paying your balance off in full will make sure you don't receive any interest charges, which you definitely want to avoid. But what about the optimal time to pay off your credit card bill if you're looking to increase your credit score as much as you can? To answer this question, you first need to understand that credit reference agencies receive hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of information about us in order to build up a picture about our finances and our habits, which results in our credit report and our credit score. Some of the information they're receiving is our credit card balances at certain dates throughout the month. Now, we can't know for certain exactly what dates they're receiving, especially for each individual circumstance. But the idea here is that we want to show them that 1, we're using the credit card, 2, we're keeping the credit card utilization below 50%, and 3, that we're paying off the balance in full every single month. So the best way to make sure the credit reference agencies get this information is to pay off your credit card bill as late as possible. So I'd say between 1 and 2 days before your payment due date. This gives the credit reference agencies the time to see the full picture of exactly how you're using your credit card, and doing this will have the biggest impact on your credit score. The key thing is to have that 2-day buffer though, because there are times when payments may be delayed, a mistake may have happened, or the payment date may fall on a weekend or a bank holiday, which could delay your payments. So making sure you leave a few days buffer so you don't go past your payment date is very important. And that can be managed when we look at the next question, which is how to pay your credit card bill. There are plenty of options out there. You can pay cash or check, you can make a bank transfer, or sometimes you can even make one-off payments through the credit card provider's website. The problem with all of these options though is that it requires you to remember and manually make the payments every single month, making sure that it's on time and the right amount. I find the key to managing your credit card properly is to reduce as much friction as possible. That's why the best option for paying off your credit card bill is to set up a direct debit. You can set the direct debit to pay off your balance in full every single month, and you can set the date close to your payment due date. Direct debits are really easy to set up. They can be done through your online account, or you can call your credit card provider to set it up that way. Now, if you're still sitting there thinking, what's the point? Credit cards sound like hard work, and are they really better than just using your debit card? Well, I answer those questions in this video here, comparing debit cards to credit cards and explaining some of the benefits. So make sure you check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.